buy that for $1.
Welcome to another special $1 flea market pickups video. All of the items that are going to be featured in this video were either purchased for $1 or less. There are actually items that I didn't even pay $1 for that are going to be in this video, but I have to draw the line somewhere. So the nice thing is that this is some nice cheap items that they're not worth a lot, but if you have some sentimental value or if you just collect oddball items, these definitely are right up that alley. I'm going to touch base really quick and say not all these items are sports related, and I'm just going to get the two non-sports items out of the way and we'll talk about them just for a little bit. Now, I've made it very clear on my channel, along with the Retro Sports Guru, if you haven't seen his appearance yet on my channel. I'm a big fan of this man right here, and that is Garfield. I found Garfield Crazy 8s for 75 cents. And I'm not going to use these, to play Crazy 8s or anything. It's a standard deck of cards. But what I thought about doing was maybe taking 2 or 3 of these and writing Jim Davis, the creator of Garfield, and asking him to maybe sign a couple of these for me. So I will keep you posted on whether or not Mr. Davis decides to sign for me through the mail, and that will be an updated Through the Mail Thursday video, hopefully in the near future. So 36 cards. How do you play Crazy 8s with only 36 cards? Okay, I guess it's obviously suited for kids. They can't handle a full deck of cards, I guess. But I bought it for more through the mail stuff than I did to play cards on. Now the next item is an iconic video game. And it's not a sports game, but I thought for $1 in the box, Mortal Kombat on the Sega Genesis. Now I have a Sega Genesis still to this day. I also collect video games a little bit, but it is complete. Well, it's not complete. The manual's not there, unfortunately. But there's the game right there. And if you grew up in the 1990s, you know what Mortal Kombat is. This was probably the most anticipated games, one of the most anticipated games by kids, and one of the most hated games by parents from that era. Meaning, because of the violence and the gore associated with the arcade version of this game, when it came to home consoles, this was a very controversial game. This was almost like having to buy the adult video behind the counter type of stuff. You'd have to go into the store and ask for it because they didn't want kids starting to, buy this. And that's what kind of brought about the rating systems for video games that you are aware of. MA13, let's see what year this came out. This came out in 1992, so I would have been right at the right age where I could have bought this. But I can tell you I have very fond memories of playing this with my best friend. And, he was in the basement and we'd hang out and play Mortal Kombat. I can't remember if it was Mortal Kombat 1, but it was definitely Mortal Kombat 2. And some of my other friends that are watching this from childhood, if you're found me on YouTube, you could definitely attest to we playing this game in junior high until our hands bled, basically. That and Street Fighter 2. So, very cool to find this for only $1. I don't even care if I play it. It's just a nice little piece to put up on the shelf or something as a display piece because it's that cool, nostalgia-wise. So, alright, so this next item was paid $1, and I usually don't buy gloves for over $5, but this was a unique glove in the fact that this is an old Spalding glove. I'm going to do my best to open it up here and show you who it is. It's hard to see there. A little blurry. Turn that light out. Maybe that'll help. But that, come on. That is Mickey Lolich. And what's unique about this is a lefty glove. I would say out of my entire collection, I have very few lefty gloves. And I found this at the bottom of this was laying on the floor in a booth or something. And I bent down, and normally when I see gloves from this era, people are just asking astronomical prices. I mean, we're talking $20 plus. Well, I picked it up, and it had $1 on it. I'm like, well, for $1, I'm going to take it. I'm not a lefty, but, you know, basically, if I find any glove for $1 that's an adult glove, I'm not talking kids' gloves, I'm like, I don't care who it is. I'm going to buy it for $1. I'll throw it in the trunk of my car and play catch. I mean, for $1, you can't beat it. So, pretty cool. A lefty glove. When I found this in the antique mall, I told my wife, I said, this reminds me of the Leftorium with Ned Flanders. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, the Leftorium. She didn't get the joke. So, anyways, Ned Flanders, if you're interested, got a lefty Mickey Lolich glove here. And I know there's a lot of Detroit Tigers fans that watch my channel, so check it out, man. What are the odds of finding this in southwestern Missouri? Mickey Lolich. Alright, so these next items, I'm going to kind of throw in the way back machine here. You probably remember these before the internet existed. And this was the kind of stuff when you had a book order at school, or even if you were lucky enough to have a library that was that cool, you would find a book like this. And that is Super Bowl, Pro Football's Greatest Games. You can see the tag on there, 25 cents. And just open it up here and kind of show you can see the oldness on there. Scholastic books. There you go. And this is copyright 1975. Originally 72, 75. So this is how you learned about sports. I mean, this is, you know, you had to do reading for class. This is the book. This is the book that you would grab if you were a sports nut like me. And you're like, okay, teacher, you're going to make us read? Well, I'm going to read about football. There's Joe Namath signing an autograph. Oh, to be that kid. That would be cool. That'd be cool. Could you imagine if you were that kid and you were in this book? I mean, that would be awesome. So anyways, you kind of get the idea. Goes through all the Super Bowls, each one, up until that point. You know, this is a nice little Super Bowl collectible. You know, you don't see books like this made anymore. I mean, you don't even see books made anymore, hardly. But I thought, a unique collectible for only $0.25, why not? Alright, this next one is also a pretty cool book. And this is the Sports Hall of Fame, or Hall of Shame, I should say. Young Fans Edition. So, wacky and funny players of all time reaching the Hall of Shame. And that reminds me of Bull Durham. Not Bull Durham, excuse me. Major League, when the fan comes up to the Wild Thing, Charlie Sheen in the bar, after he set a record for most wild pitches in a game or something like that, and he asked him for his autograph. And he's like, oh man, I saw you on the news tonight. You made the Hall of Shame. Can I have your autograph? And Charlie Sheen's like, oh, this is my first autograph. I couldn't give these away a couple weeks ago. And then he turns to Jake Taylor, Tom Berenger's character. He's like, well, I didn't know I was going to get famous that way. And Berenger, I'm paraphrasing, Berenger's like, well, if you're colorful, you can be famous. So anyways, the Sports Hall of Shame. I look forward to sitting down and looking at that and reading it. And these two books, I might have a future video in mind for this. There's kind of an idea stewing in my brain, and hopefully if I can get some time to get around to doing it, you guys might get to see these again in a future video. So 25 cents a piece. Now these final items I got at the same place that I got those books, and I normally don't buy these but they were only $0.25 a piece, so it was kind of hard to pass up. And this is St. Louis Cardinals Gameday magazine for only 25 cents. And this is a 2016 issue with Adam Wainwright. This issue from 2007 has Braden Looper on the cover. This is an 08 issue. It has Todd Wellemeyer. I forgot he was a Cardinal. I knew he was a Cub, but I forgot he was a Cardinal. This one is kind of cool. This is also a 16, but this has Seung-hwan on the cover, who was a very short time Cardinal, only a couple seasons. I want to say he's with the Blue Jays now. But that's him at Ted Drew's, which is a St. Louis landmark. I think I saw on the news that they're like opening for their 70th season or something. Long story short, it's a frozen custard stand in the St. Louis area off of Chippewa. They might have another location if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure some of the St. Louis viewers can chime in on that. But this is like a St. Louis landmark. You can only get Ted Drew's frozen custard and concretes in St. Louis. So, and finally, this is a Ryan Ludwig issue from 2009 with his stint with the Cardinals. From what I understand, he still works in some capacity with the Cardinals. So this is a nice little addition to have, you know, to carry around to ball games with me in case I run into him. I might ask him to sign that. So that's pretty cool. So in closing, we got the Cardinal Gameday magazine stack here for 25 cents a piece. The vintage football books for $0.25 a piece. Zoom out a little bit here so we can get it all on there. The Mickey Lolich glove for $1. The Mortal Kombat video game. And of course, my Garfield Crazy 8s. All for under $1. So, thanks for watching another dollar pickups video. I hope you enjoyed this video. This just proves that you can find some stuff on the cheap if you look hard enough. If you get a chance, please check out the other dollar pickup videos. There's a couple going to be linked at the end of this video. But also, if you get a chance, check out the playlist with my sports-related pickups. Thanks. Look forward to your comments below. Happy collecting.